So you bought some nods and now you're ready to rock, right? You knew you needed training to run that rifle like a Chad, so why should night vision be any different? TNVC.com is your source for the NightFighter training you need to be effective.
I'm a gray man. I'm a gray man. I'm a gray man. It's like, well, if you keep on telling everybody you're a gray man, you're not really a gray man anymore, right?
Well, you should have heard all the hate mail I got bitching about Andrew's sling. This monstrosity of a fucking...
Oh, yeah, that thing was...
Oh my god! That's so fucking like...
How dare you make fun
I heard that was what killed Osama bin Laden. Hey folks, Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts. I'm here with everybody's favorite AR15.com personality.
Paul, president, sick, but I love you.
So Paul is, let's just say, not feeling well.
A little bit under the weather, but we're good.
That's okay.
We're in the sun. We're having
That's
a good
all right.
time.
I'll have to carry you as normal. So the point of our video is to talk a little bit about our experience that we had when we were working with the TNVC crew just recently in their NightFighter 101 course. So first of all, Tactical Night Vision Company, if you're not familiar with who they are, Google's your friend. And their NightFighter 101 course, as the name implies, is like their first introduction to the realm of night vision and fighting at night. So, overall observations.
Oh, it was fantastic. I had no idea what I was getting into going into it. I didn't, this is my first experience with night vision, so it was just really cool. I need a lot of money now to buy night vision products at TNVC because I like seeing stuff more than not seeing stuff. Honestly, it was fantastic.
Well, I love that part because that is kind of funny. So, and to kind of like put some context, Paul, you had like no experience at all at nighttime.
They said, here's some PBS 31s. I was like, is that good? I don't know.
If I had painted some toilet paper tubes black and taped them together and put them on a helmet, you would have thought those were night vision,
as long as they were green goggles,
yeah. Maybe just put like Coke bottle lens or something.
Yeah.
You would have thought that was night vision.
Probably.
Okay, so there's the context that we had there. Paul had like no exposure, no prior experience, and like it was kind of fun watching like the kid in the candy store kind of experience, because it became very, very quickly, it became like, oh my God, this is so much fun. So yes, night vision is cool.
Particularly when we started doing the hunter versus hunted segment.
Absolutely. So the whole course was broken down on a lot of different things. And one of the applications or one of the evolutions that we did was a scenario where we as good guys would have to go and search for bad guys. And we did it under two conditions. The first condition was under nods. And the second condition was white light only. Right? And when we did the white light, I think there was a lot of learning that took place for you in the white light.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and here's the thing too. Maybe you'd had no night vision experience, but probably safe to say that you have also limited nighttime work,
definitely.
Right?
I mean, my game plan is post up against the door and wait. I don't clear houses, so
It's tough because when you start to work at night, it's so equipment sensitive, and there was a lot of learning that took place there, and what we ended up having to do was did a super quick crash course. Paul, do this, make sure you do that, and then we got into the problem, started searching for these guys, and Paul promptly dismissed all the information that I shared with him, went in one ear and out the other, which was entertaining to watch because it was like, Paul, nope, damn it, because if he had done this, he would have saw that. But it was interesting because one of the reasons why I think that happened was because in this setting, when you're working at night, you become so sensory deprived. And so your little binky became what you could see in that white light. And only what you could see in that white light.
And even, there's so much flooding.
Yeah.
But like my brain was focused on what I could see the best.
Yeah.
And we discussed a game plan, and I just did nothing but stare at where my light was the entire time, and didn't realize it until about the back.
Yeah.
That was.
And luckily you couldn't even see me shaking my head behind you as you were watching.
This is very normal.
But and it was good for me too, because I have like the last time I taught a night vision class, and the thing about TNVC is my relationship with Vic go way, way, way back. I mean, when Vic first started off with his company, I was very lucky to sit down and talk to him and kind of give him some guidance on, hey, I think it would be hugely successful. This is what I think. And man, he just took that and off he went. So it's been a while since I had the opportunity to do anything structured in a night vision kind of setting, and I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that I enjoyed was watching your experience going through this, because, you know, it's nice. And normally as the instructor, I got to go through, by the way, Paul and I were students together, so in case you're wondering, that we went by as partners. And so it was nice to kind of take a step back and not have to be responsible for anything, and just kind of go through as a student and have fun and enjoy it all. So it was very, very much enjoyable. But immediately, as soon as we got under the nighttime conditions, everything kind of came back. And that was one of the things, the sensory deprivation. Like, I don't think people can appreciate that until they actually experience it. Mm-hmm. So when we're doing this hunter hunted, and Paul is using his white light to search, one of the things that we discovered very quickly is that you only look at the hot spot. So the beam, most white beams project out kind of like 3 different sub beams, if you will. There's the hot spot, which is the concentration, the focus where it's the hottest. There's the aura around it, and then there's kind of like the fringe, the dirty light that's on the very, very edges, right? And the problem with most people is that they're only looking inside of the hot spot. They're not taking advantage of the aura or the dirty light that's at the very edges. And that's unfortunate, because you can do a lot of good scanning. And what we're trying to do is we're also trying to minimize our signature, our footprint with the light. We're trying not to search with it always on and trying to like do that. So
because on the flip side,
right,
when we did white light, wow, you know when someone's coming so much sooner.
It's so true. And the nice thing about when we roll reverse, so then after we were the good guys, we went in as the bad guys. And, you know, it's not necessarily cheating, but I kind of had I put Paul in a specific position because it was going to challenge the good guys that were looking for us, because there's certain norms and certain expectations that everybody sees. And when you can kind of work within, when you work outside those norms, it's sometimes easy to overlook and bypass. And the guys did a pretty good job. I think it was kind of one of those things where it's like, I think I see something, because I heard them from the other room. They were talking to each other, and that was really interesting. Now, one of the things that I will tell you is the depth of looking, not just in the space that you're occupying, but looking deeper through doorways, windows, alcoves into the next space.
That was the other thing, that the feedback I got. I just kept walking into things instead of just taking my time to observe from a distance.
Oh my goodness, it was so frustrating. I'm like, stop it, Paul, you're killing me. Stop it. Just use the light. I think I even said that.
You may have.
Once or twice. So what I mean by that is, you know, you can splash light into the next adjoining space, and if you're in your space, you have to actually make the effort to look deeper into the space that's adjoining. And the mistake that the good guys made when they were playing the good guys looking for us as bad guys is I did that. I went in like, I was able to get into a space that I was 3 rooms deep. So, well, I at the furthest point that they could see me, there were 3 spaces they had to look through to finally see me. And the lights that we had, the room space was close. There was no reason why the light didn't have the throw to get into that spaces. The problem was they weren't programmed to look into those spaces. And so I could see them approaching through the first space, see them approaching through the second space, and eventually when they got right on the doorway where I was standing in the next space, they were able to see me. So it's important that you kind of take away some of these little subtle clues about how to use that white light, but that's such an important thing. And people also talk about lumens. I want all the lumens in the world. World!
How many lumens is that? All of them?
That's a lot.
Okay.
But so I have a different opinion. I don't think you necessarily need all the lumens in the world. What I think you need is enough lumens to do your job, whatever that job is. I don't think you need to go down the road too much to make that happen. I just think you need to have enough. And because what happened, and we saw this, and we'll talk about this in the gear video, was the weight. When you start to add, well, first, when you increase lumens, you're going to be increasing weight.
Yep.
And once you increase weight, now it becomes an issue. And that was one of the things that we saw in the gear thing. So we'll wait to talk about that. Okay, so that was white light. Of course, after we did the white light, we transitioned to working under nods and just searching with our night vision equipment. And how was that?
That was also very interesting. Well, at that point, that was kind of my first experience with it. So kind of that depth perception was just a little bit off. But as far as seeing, I was, able to kind of set my focal point. Left eye was a little bit more, closer to me. Right eye further. And I thought, I'm good. But it's like they set us up because this building we're in, bunch of glass windows, big, huge, and just street lights right there.
Yeah.
So while you're able to see magically into one thing, you're not over here. So that's my point though, right? Because while it's maybe not magically, while it's enhancing the light right here, it's doing the same thing over here and actually preventing me from seeing that. So it was just very interesting to kind of, because I figured, hey man, poof, I'm good. I'm gonna find everybody.
Yeah.
And the guys were smart. They hid exactly behind the light where I was like, man, I can't really see anything over there. That's where I'd hide.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because there's also so kind of knowing the game, that's kind of exactly what I thought. Okay, these guys are probably going to be where our equipment reaches a limitation. They're gonna probably appreciate that. They're gonna work that angle, in other words. And that's why I kind of let you just kind of scan on your own and kind of keep learning. And then eventually I was like, hey. That kind of thing. But it was good. It was fun. And the thing about moving under night vision, one of the things that we talk about is that you do have to be quite careful because your depth perception is very limited, as is your focal. You are literally looking through paper tubes. Yeah. And that's tough. That's really tough. So what I would say is my big takeaway from the from that was it was using, knowing how technology works, and then understanding that these guys are probably going to use technology to the best of their ability, which is they're basically going to go into places where that technology is going to be somewhat mitigated, which they did. Now, we reversed, right? We reversed and we went into, now we're the hunted, and those guys were hunting. And I was like...
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was. Because right away I was like, Paul, go right there. And you're like, what? They're going to see me so easily. No, they're not.
No. And I'm standing in just a recessed space, and I'm a little chunky, but
portly.
Stand right there. I said, okay, how are they not going to see me? They walk
so funny.
right past me, and I'm standing there like, holy crap, I can't believe that worked. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Note to self, just remember to listen to Jeff more often. But and I went into an area where it wasn't going to be that challenging for them to find me, but the point was that I wanted to be able to see them before they could see me. And so what I did was I put them where they were going to be backlit against that bright light.
Yeah.
So unlike what they did, which was hide in the light,
flipped it on them.
I flipped it on them so I didn't need technology. I would be able to see them moving clearly as they move because I put myself in a position where I could see that. And that was huge.
Counter-Strike will not teach you these skills.
What's that?
Counter-Strike will not teach you these skills.
So I would say the last thing about our overall experience and expectation with that Hunter is it helped to set the theme, the tone that we are hunting at night. And we have to really think about that because during the daytime, we got this great periphery. We can see so much. It's so easy. Right, we take that for granted.
Definitely.
Take it for granted.
You have to be very literal in what you're trying to see in
Absolutely.
that narrow field of view.
Absolutely. We're going to talk a lot more about that in the gear and the training aspect next. So, all right, folks, if you have questions or comments or you yourself have played around with night vision, hey, put it down below. Let us know what you thought. If you've gone to a TNVC class, let us know what you thought about that as well. I'm Jeff. That's Paul. He's sick.
I am.
We're out of here. All right, folks, adios.
Right. Are those my men?